Hi guys, how you doing? And welcome to another Blam Partners Live with myself, Grant Stain, CEO here at Blam. And today I'm going to go a bit of what I would call back to basics or back to old school sales coaching, because a lot of you that listen to me, a lot of you, if you're Blam partners, if you are somebody that follows me on grantstain.com or perhaps in Blam Academy, you will see that one of the key things that we talk about in the Blam ecosystem is about, if you are in business, you are in sales, and helping you become comfortable with that idea, to accepting that idea is fundamental to your success. And I know this from my history, because I ran a business for many years without really embracing the fact that I was in sales. And it was only when I became a student of sales that I really started to see things take off in my businesses, and embracing the fact that as the business owner, I'm the one that's responsible for sales. Because if the business doesn't make sales, you haven't really got a business. You've got a hobby or you've got a charity. And it's important for you as business owners to embrace the sales process, embrace sales learning and education, and then build on top of that to refine it so that you can build that sales system, that sales machine within your business. And here at Blam, we've devised that sales system over many years. There was a lot of trial and error for myself that I went through, using multiple different sales systems and gurus to get to the point where, in our business, where we sell digital marketing products, as you Blam partners will know, we sell websites, SEO, social media, content writing, ads, all the kind of things within that ecosystem, selling them to direct sales, as in speaking to individuals who are usually business owners themselves. They're usually business owners, as in entrepreneurs. We need to embrace the fact that a sales system that is defined can make a massive difference to your success and failure. And then within that sales system, and as we know with Blam, we've got a very strict process that we follow, refining all the idiosyncrasies, refining all the techniques, what I would call, as per the title of this, the advanced sales techniques, is the thing that's going to really supercharge your results. But the truth is, guys, those advanced sales techniques, they're not going to happen overnight. You're not going to watch a video like this and all of a sudden be able to apply them immediately and be a natural. You have to repeat these things with trial and error. You have to refine them to get them to work in your own way, because a lot of the techniques that we use can actually feel quite uncomfortable when we first start. So for this particular video, I want to run through just a few of the standard techniques that we teach in Blam for all you Blam partners that are listening. These are the ones that we repeat over and over again, so that you can actually start embracing them and then employing them. But don't expect them to work straight away. You've got to practice them. So first of all, I want to start with, and this can apply to not just Blam partners. This is anybody that is dealing with direct sales, anybody that has one-to-one communication to sell a product or a service. In our instance, everything is refined around selling digital marketing. Now, I talk about having what we call a consultative approach. Now, this is really important to help you understand that although we embrace the fact that we're in sales, we embrace, if we've got a business, we must be in sales, we don't ever want to sound, smell, taste like a salesperson. We don't want to come across as salesman, because people don't like being sold to. So the techniques that we use are all based on this all-encompassing model that I call consultative selling. And it's a bit like being, a medical consultant. It's a bit like being the kind of person that would sit there and try and diagnose the problem by asking lots of questions. So to help you understand the overriding technique, think of yourself a little bit like a doctor. And when a doctor actually meets with a patient, a doctor will be asking lots of questions, try and figure out what the problem is, to then see whether or not they've got the diagnosis and then the remedy to that illness. In the same way, when we take a consultative approach to our business, we're speaking to somebody who's got a problem and we're asking them questions to then try and figure out if the systems, processes, products, services that we have will actually take that problem away from them. And the consultative approach is we're going to ask those questions and then figure out if we can or not. Which brings me on to point two. This overriding consultative approach, asking questions, figuring it out, is what we refer to this as staying behind the pendulum. So what you will notice I said, when you're a consultant, you don't go into a meeting with the attitude of presuming that you're going to be able to fix that problem. Now, our natural state as entrepreneurs, and I see this over and over again, is that when we go into a meeting where somebody knows that we are effectively there to sell something, we'll use the websites as the example. The tendency is that we go automatically into sales mode where we are trying to sell to say, yes, I can fix your problem. Yes, we can provide you with more leads. Yes, your website's going to do this, that, and the other, and everything's going to be brilliant. And that is the default that we tend to go in to a meeting when we're not appropriately trained. That actually makes you sound just like a salesperson, and you're actually pushing your prospects away because all they're hearing is stuff that they expect to hear. They expect to hear salespersons tell them how awesome everything is. What we want to do is be the consultant. What we want to do is we don't want to go in there saying, don't worry, we've got everything covered here. We're going to give you this, that, and the other. Everything's going to be brilliant. We want to go in and go, actually, no, what's going to happen here is I'm going to ask you some questions about your business. I'm going to make sure I understand it. And then I'm going to see whether or not I might have the tools that will be able to help you in the future. And I may or I may not. We call this staying behind the pendulum. In other words, we never want to be more excited than our prospect. Because sometimes what can happen is you can go into a meeting and they can say, we've heard all about you. I've been told that you're brilliant. I've been told that you've done a fantastic job for my friend down the road. I can't wait. Let's just get going. That's just going to be awesome. That sometimes can be a huge red herring. It's never that easy, let's face it, guys. But they can be quite excited about the prospect. Now, the trouble is with that, when you go into a meeting and somebody has got really high expectations because of what they've heard or seen on your website or whatever else it might be, there's only really one way they can go, and that is down. So what we need to do is, staying behind the pendulum, is still take the consultative approach. Brilliant. I'm glad you've seen all this. I'm glad your friend told you how good we are. But listen, everybody's different. So let's sit down, let's have a chat, and let's see if we might be able to help you or not. So I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm sure you'll have some for me. And then between us, we'll figure out whether or not we're a good fit and whether we can help you with your situation. So as you can see straight away, you're getting behind the pendulum. You're getting less excited than they are, because if you naturally will be, if you go in and somebody's really excited, your natural tendency will to be more excited than them. Oh, brilliant. I'm glad they said that. Yeah, we can definitely help you. This is going to be awesome. And all of a sudden you're both up here. There's only one place that they can go from that high point of excitement, and that is down. So you need to get behind them. Never get more excited than your prospect. Always stay behind the pendulum, less excited than they are. Always follow the process. Always take that consultative approach, because that's how you can follow the process. Now, I use this one a lot. We call this one the dummy curve. Okay, so you've got your consultative approach, you're staying behind the pendulum. Next, you've got the dummy curve, and this is the bit where you don't get sucked into technicalities. Technicalities and detail, particularly in the digital marketing industry, can kill a deal. There are lots of people out there that feel the need to get into the detail because they've got a certain amount of knowledge and they feel the need to show off about that knowledge. It's human nature. It's not a problem. and they want to ask you more, and they want to get into the nitty gritty. Now, this is where the dummy curve comes in, because when you start getting into the nitty gritty, into the detail, the technicalities of a particular industry, and again, web design, SEO is a great one for this, or ads, Google ads, you can easily kill the deal without realizing it, because you never know what's going on in somebody else's head, and they may have preconceived ideas about what you should say that could be completely wrong. They might be completely right. It's dangerous to go down that route. It's also dangerous to go down that route if you yourself are not technical. Now, I'm not particularly technical. I'm not the kind of guy that is going to be getting under the bonnet and doing coding and getting into Google ads and doing all the split testing and all of the stuff that goes on with social media. I am not that guy. Not because I couldn't do it, but the reason that I actually cut myself up from it is because I want to be a dummy when I'm in the sales process. Because my goal each time I'm going through the sales process is to get through each section of the sales process one at a time. I never want to go backwards or forwards. I need to cross the line on each stage of the process in a linear fashion. And by being a dummy, it helps you to avoid getting into technical conversations where people have got a little bit of knowledge. They see you as the expert, and you can end up going off track. So, and a good example of that would be you're right at the beginning of a presentation, and you might be starting to go through an audit. So that's one of the things that we do at Blam, is we'll go through the audit, and somebody might, the prospect may say to you, oh, you just asked me a question about Google Ads. Tell me, I'm running Google Ads at the moment, and yeah, I'm running two campaigns, and I'm getting these results from this one. These results, what should I be doing instead? Now, you may know the answer to that, and you may know, the way in which to answer it. However, you're not at that stage of the presentation yet, and a dummy's not going to know the answer. So I would say to that, even if I did know the answer, do you know what? That's a great question, and that's definitely one for our tech guys. So I'm going to talk about the team and the tech guys and the way that they handle things a bit later on in the presentation. So we'll cover that at that part. But for now, and then you go back into whatever you were doing. So you deflect by deferring to the knowledge of your team, because you don't want to get sucked off course. You don't want to go down that dummy curve. Now, the dummy curve comes about from a story that I will quickly tell you that I think is a great analogy. And it's a story of the guy who starts work at a hardware store. And his first day there, he hasn't got a clue. He's very new. And a lady comes up to him and said, I want to buy a heater. Could you tell me what's the best one should I have? And the guy goes, do you know what? It's my first day. I don't really know, but I know which aisle the heater's in. Let me show you. They walk over to the heaters, and there's a big range of heaters there. And she's going, whoa, there's lots of different heaters here. They're all different prices. I've got no idea which one I should get. He said, no problem, let's have a look. And he starts pulling them off the shelves, reading the information on the back, explaining what each one does based on that information. He's not an expert. He's literally just being really helpful. And between them, they decide which heater is going to suit them based on that information. He takes the heater to the checkout, and the lady pays for the heater. And just as she's leaving, she says to the person on the till, can I speak to the manager, please? The manager comes over, and she said, I'd just like to say that young man over there, it's the best customer service I have ever had. Absolutely awesome. I just want you to know you've got a really good, your training must be awesome. So thank you very much. The manager thinks, he hasn't even had his training yet. It's his first day, and he's absolutely smashing it. I've got an absolute superstar here. So he grabs the guy and he says, you're doing so well. I'm going to send you on all of our top training courses. You're going to have 2 weeks out the store. You're going to be the most highly qualified guy in this store. You're going to be my number one sales guy. The guy comes back after his 2 weeks. He now knows everything there is to know about heaters, about all the other things, all the different aisles. He's now clued up. Somebody else comes in to the store and says to him, I want to buy a heater. You got any recommendations, and can you show me where they are? The guy says, heaters. There is nothing I don't know about heaters. Walk this way. These are all the heaters. This one does this. It's got this technicality, this kilowatt hours, and this how much it's going to. This one is a bit better if you've got a big room. It's got this, and it's got to cost that, and this one's going to cost that. And then this one does this, and it gives all the information to this person who stands there like that and goes, "Oh, okay, great. You've given me quite a lot to think about there. I think I'm going to think about it." And goes away and walks out the store because the expert has overwhelmed them with all this information, whereas the dummy was more like that consultative approach. Let's ask some questions. Let's have a look. Let's define it together. So be a dummy, guys. Be the person that is inquisitive, that needs to ask the questions, figure it out between you, stay behind the pendulum, being that dummy, and then stick to the process. Go through the sections of your sales process one at a time. And finally, for the advanced sales techniques, disarming honesty. Disarming honesty. So salespeople the world over have a reputation for being dishonest. Now, in some instances, this is quite right. So in some instances, there are plenty of salespeople that give us a bad reputation, because some people will do anything to make a sale. Some people will be unscrupulous. They'll use tactics that are, immoral. And unfortunately, when we are selling, we have to deal with that because we may well be tarred with that brush. So part of the reason that we use this whole process to be a consultant, to be consultative, is because we don't want to come across the salespeople, because salespeople have got a bad reputation and we don't want to be considered that. So we go in being disarmingly honest. And so if you've got a product and a service that you are absolutely committed to, that you know that when you make a sale, you've done a good thing, that you've provided something that has real value, that is an awesome product, and that is competitive in the marketplace, hopefully, if you're a Blam partner, be head and shoulders above everything else that's in the marketplace, then you know that you've got something that is more than likely going to be able to help somebody right from the beginning. However, if you go in saying all of that right from the beginning, you will sound like a salesperson, and you will more than likely push yourself further away from the sale. Don't get me wrong, some people are so passionate and so, full on with the honesty of their passion can get them sales, and that can be a very powerful thing. And as you know, one of my great sales heroes, Alex Hormozy, says, give me somebody who's so passionate about their product that they just want to sell it any day over somebody who's got a mediocre product but fantastic sales skills. The passion for selling something that you truly believe in will always outweigh anything else. However, if you go in with a disarmingly honest approach, in other words, if you're new to sales, let your prospect know. If you're new to business, let your prospect know. If you don't know the answer to a question, let your prospect know. If you don't think that your product or service is a good fit for that customer, for that prospect, let them know. Recommend the things that you genuinely think are going to help them, not just because it's going to help you sell more. Because if you are absolutely disarmingly honest, and almost to the point sometimes where you might sound anti-sales, when somebody makes a decision to work with you, it'll be because they want to work with you because they trust you. It's because they trust you. And if you are disarmingly honest and you resist the urge to be that salesperson that promises the earth and then under-delivers, then your prospect is going to trust you so much more. And in the world that we live in right now, trust is the absolute key, because there are so many people out there that are, not to be trusted. And you may well start off in that category in the prospect's mind when you first start the sales process. So disarmingly honest means, hey, listen, I'm pretty new to this, but I'm newly qualified. I've got all my certifications. I've got a fantastic team at Blam that are backing me up, but go easy on me because I might not know all the answers to your questions, but I know the team will be able to help. That disarming honesty. Entrepreneurs want to work with other entrepreneurs. And when you are honest, disarmingly so, it can sound anti-sales, but actually you are going to be endearing yourself. Obviously, we don't want to say negative things. We don't want to be putting ourselves down too much. We want to be disarmingly honest, because absolute honesty disarms the prospect, because they're not used to hearing somebody say, do you know what? I'm not sure this particular product that you said you wanted to buy is going to be right for you. This one, which might be a bit cheaper, could be the best way to start. That's my honest opinion. That kind of disarming honesty builds relationships. My view is you should always be 100% straight as a die honest. But unfortunately, there are plenty of people that feel that they have to make things up. It makes me cringe when I speak to salespeople when they think it's funny when they've lied to a prospect to get somebody to buy from them, and they think it's great and that's all part of the game. Nothing could be further from the truth. You will get found out. If you're the kind of person that feels you need to exaggerate, lie, make stuff up in order to get a sale, then you're in the wrong business, because you do not need to do any of that to be a good salesperson if you've got an awesome product that you believe in. And that is absolutely key. As Grant Cardone says, and I love this, you should have no qualms whatsoever about selling your product to your friends and family. It's that good, because you're giving them something that they love. So make sure you've got that product in your heart as something that you feel proud to sell. And if you don't, you're in the wrong business. You need to get better products and services. Because when you do, you can be disarmingly honest, confident in the knowledge that the things that you recommend are genuine, and people can sense this. And so that means that in the early days of you being a salesperson, you don't have to rely on loads of tricks, because your enthusiasm for the product and your disarming honesty will get you a good chunk of the way forward in that sales process. And then the advanced sales techniques, adding on top of this, the consultative approach. Remember not to be too salesy. Stay behind the pendulum. Don't get more excited than your prospect. Remember, you're a dummy. That's absolutely fine to be a dummy. Don't get drawn into technical conversations. And those few little systems there, when practiced and applied, are the foundation of the sales techniques that we teach in the Blam Partnership Program. And they won't steer you far wrong. And as you get better at them, and as you start to increase your skills and increase your confidence, because it takes a lot of confidence to tell somebody, you're new, or, you haven't got all the answers, because people have this perception in their head that they need to know everything and they've got to be a super expert before they can even talk to anybody. Well, if you use disarming honesty, you don't need any of that, as long as you've got the products and service to back it up. I hope that has been useful. My name's Grant Stain. As I say, for those of you that are watching on one of the other platforms, in the inner circle, you can reach us anytime if you want to add to this. I'd love to hear in the chat, actually, anybody that has applied any of these techniques to get results. I apply these techniques all the time. I always teach the sales team. I know we've got lots of partners that follow this process, refine it, and get really good at it. But remember, guys, if you are in business, you are in sales, but don't come across like a salesperson. Have a great rest of the week, guys. Thanks for listening. Take care.